Well, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to post a video here, and for those that are going to be listening to this that are on my Facebook page or on my Instagram, I started a new endeavor called Apolo-neering, and I just want to give my heart behind this and explain to you guys why I'm doing this. So for the next couple minutes, I'm going to show that. To begin with, I want to start with the name, like why I chose Apollo-neering. And because I'm an engineer, I wanted to incorporate that in my approach to the Bible, to how I view life and my circumstances around me. So the name Apollo-neering comes from a mixture of the terms apologetics and engineering. And so apologetics is the way that we defend our faith. It's the way that Peter says we give a defense for the hope that we have in Jesus Christ. And so we do that by apologetics. We do that by knowing what we believe, why we believe it, and being able to defend it that way. So and then in engineering, you problem solve. You take a systematic approach to solving problems in the world. And so this is a systematic approach to apologetics, and hence the name Apollo-neering. So that's the reasoning why I chose that name. And as you can see from the figure that I created, we're measuring varying beliefs throughout this world against the Word of God. So my heart behind this comes from a pretty profound passage in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8. And so I'm going to read it to you guys and then kind of explain what's going on and why I want to start exposing different beliefs and talking about them, bringing them to light. So this is Ezekiel chapter 8, starting in verse 5. It says, "Then he said to me, Son of man, lift up your eyes now toward the north. So I lifted up my eyes toward the north, and behold, north of the altar gate in the entrance was the image of jealousy. And he said to me, Son of man, do you see what they are doing, the great abominations that the house of Israel are committing here to drive me far from my sanctuary? But you will see still greater abominations. And he brought me to the entrance of the court, and when I looked, behold, there was a hole in the wall. Then he said to me, Son of man, dig into the wall. So I dug in the wall, and behold, there was an entrance. And he said to me, Go in, and see the vile abominations that they are committing here. So I went in and saw, and there, engraved on the wall all around, was every form of creeping things and loathsome beasts and all the idols of the house of Israel. And before them stood 70 men of the elders of the house of Israel, with Jazaniah the son of Shaphan standing among them. Each had his censer in his hand, and the smoke of the cloud of incense went up. Then he said to me, Son of man, have you seen what the elders of the house of Israel are doing in the dark, each in his room of pictures? For they say, The Lord does not see us, the Lord has forsaken the land. He said also to me, You will still see greater abominations that they commit. Then he brought me to the entrance of the north gate of the house of the Lord, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Then he said to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? You will still see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the house of the Lord, and behold, at the entrance of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs to the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, worshiping the sun toward the east. Then he said to me, Have you seen this, O son of man? Is it too light a thing for the house of Judah to commit the abominations that they commit here, that they should fill the land with violence and provoke me still further to anger? Behold, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore I will act in my wrath. My eye will not spare, nor will I have pity. And though they cry in my tears with a loud voice, I will not hear them." So let me give you some context. Ezekiel here is in exile in Babylon, okay? And the Lord takes him by the Spirit back to Jerusalem, where there's still some people left. The Babylonians didn't take everyone in one sitting. They took some captives at one point, brought them back, and then they brought more and more and more until finally they were pretty much all the Jews were out of the land of Israel in Babylon. So the Lord takes Ezekiel back to Jerusalem in the Spirit and shows him the vile occult practices that the Jews were now committing because they thought that the Lord had left them. And we read there that they were doing it in secret, that the elders, the 70 elders, each had their own room full of idols and drawings and occult things in their rooms. So if you know how the temple was set up, each priest, each elder kind of had their own little thing here. And they were worshiping these things. They, in the house of God, in the sanctuary, in the temple of God before it was destroyed. And so they were doing that, but also God takes Ezekiel out and he sees these people worshiping Tammuz, okay? And Tammuz, if for those that you don't know, was the son of Nimrod and Semiramis, okay, as the legend goes. And so this takes us all the way back to the Tower of Babel. And if you know the legend of Nimrod and Semiramis, the Semiramis was Nimrod's mom, and they decided to have a baby together, and his name was Tammuz, okay? And he's celebrated at Christmas by the Christmas tree, so that's where that legend comes from. But Tammuz is this god. He's also called the stag god. So these people were also worshiping him, okay? And then also it tells us even further that further down that they were worshiping the sun, okay? So these people were searching for everything. They were doing it in secret. They were doing it out in the open. But these people knew who God was, and they knew who the true God was, but they decided to do this still. And so my heart behind this Apolo-neering endeavor is to show that this stuff has eked into the church. It's come into our place of worship. There's people who have intentions of coming into your churches, performing witchcraft and rituals and stuff, and that stuff is really going on. And so my heart behind this is to teach you guys what to look for, to teach you guys about these legends that Satan wants to keep hidden. There's an enemy that we're fighting, and he wants to keep this stuff hidden. He doesn't want this stuff coming out to light. And so that's my heart behind this. I have, the Lord's given me a spiritual gift of teaching and admonishing, and so I want to do that. And if you guys will be patient with me, as this is my first time doing this type of stuff, I really want to get this stuff out there, and I want you guys to be interacting with me, okay? So that's my heart. My heart is to expose this, and you guys saw on my page that Ephesians 5:11 really sticks out to me. Paul is talking there about not participating in the acts of darkness that these spiritual people do in secret, but expose their darkness, expose their deeds, and there are dark satanic people that are doing dark things in America, in our churches, in our school system, everywhere it's occurring, and that's to push God out and get Satan in. So that's my heart. My goal for this platform is for you guys to have an opportunity to share your experiences, to ask questions, to have a place to where you can feel safe about this stuff. I know it's not always easy to talk about the supernatural because we live in such a scientific Western worldview, but that's something else that I want to do is show that we do live in the supernatural realm, and we live in this battle that we can't see with our physical eyes, but we're in it regardless of whether you like to admit it or not. So my goal for you guys also comes from a book that I've been reading. It's called Occult Theocracy. Okay, and this was written in 1933 by a woman named Edith Starr Miller. Edith Starr Miller. And through this, she goes into pretty much every belief that you can imagine. Just looking at the table of contents here, we have the meaning of occultism, Brahmanism, Zoroastrianism, Confucianism, and Taoism, Egyptian esotericism, Judaism, Orpheanism and the pagan mysteries, the Druids, Christianity, Manichaeism, witchcraft, Gnosticism, Elamism, the Yazidis, Orthodox Islam, So she goes through and explains the history. She goes through and explains their beliefs. This is one of the most profound works that I've ever read. So if you guys haven't read this, make sure that you pick it up. But her goal for this book is also my goal for this platform. And so I'm going to read what she says about it. She says, in offering this book to the public, so in offering my this platform for you guys, I have endeavored to expose some of the means and methods used by a secret world. One might also almost say an underworld, to penetrate, dominate, and destroy not only the so-called upper class, but also the better portion of all classes. There are those who feel confident that if they refrain from joining any society or group and avoid entanglements, no harm can befall them. To such, let me say that situations can be and are created for innocent dupes every day and wrecked. Let me say that situations can and are created for innocent dupes every day, and wrecked homes are the direct result. Neither fortune nor a blameless life led, as it were, in an island of strict virtue in the midst of a tumultuous sea of evil spells security. Irrefutable evidence of a particular example of underworld tyranny has come into my possession. The victim's guilt was her reluctance to step from virtue into the mire of evil which surrounded her. Moreover, she was intolerant of evil and sought to oppose and destroy it. The case of her persecution at the hands of her foes is complete. She belonged to what is termed society, as did also some of the other actors in this bewildering drama. The world, social, financial, legal, and, shall we also say, the underworld, leaving to this world is its generally accepted literal meaning, knows them. So many Jekylls and Hydes stalking about unsuspectingly in our midst. So her goal was to take people that she had met, tell their story, expose what they believed, and then let us know that there's other people that believe this. She finishes it by saying, so many Jekylls and Hydes stalking about unsuspectingly in our midst. There are Jekylls and Hydes in our midst. There's people who believe in Luciferianism that hide it very well, and so I want to expose that, and I want to teach you guys how to see it and to identify it. And this is studying signs, symbols. This is understanding terminology. This is this is learning about all that stuff. And so through that, I'm also going to be starting a YouTube channel where I hope to interview some people that have come out of some of these practices, including people like Stephen Bancars and Josh Peck and Bill Schneblin and various other people who have delved into this stuff and got pretty deep into it, but by the blood of Jesus they were saved out of it. And so that's my goal. My goal is to do that, is to provide that for you guys. So that's about all I have. You guys have any questions, ask. Share the page, please. Let your friends know. Share the information. It'd be great. And let's start a conversation. Let's get this stuff out there. Thanks, guys.